Welcome back to the Weekend Warrior Show Recap Podcast. I'm Ty from the Unemployed Architects. This week I'm going to be talking about some of my virtual upcoming performances, as well as my previous virtual performances. So I got a couple coming up. I got one a week from today. It's Tuesday. I think it's May 19th for the TAPS Animal Shelter in Pekin. It's a fundraiser, so we'll be splitting tips and donations. They'll make 75% of what's donated. I'll make 25%. It's a 2-hour performance. So that'll be something different. And then I'm doing a pre-recorded thing for the McLean County Arts Center. It's a fundraiser as well. And that is I think that'll be released on May 24th. But it'll be, 3 songs pre-recorded. So it'll be a couple different things. That one's just for free. They'll be fun, and they're for good causes. I doubt I'll make a lot of money, but that's okay. I know the second one I won't make any, but the first one I might make a little bit, but I don't know. And then last weekend I did my normal, Friday, Saturday night sets. They didn't go as well as I was hoping. But I've been kind of had this idea as of lately to, kind of organize my sets a little bit differently just because, there's nothing else to do, I guess. But so Friday night I did what I called my B-list cover set. And then Saturday I tried my A-list cover set. And I kind of, wrote everything out beforehand and tried to get a good handle on it. And the weekend before that I did all originals. So, I thought it'd be cool to have, I know that the original set could be 2.5 hours, and then the B-list cover could be 2 hours as well, and the A-list covers could be 2 hours as well. So, all together it'd be 6 hours of different music, and maybe it wouldn't get so stale when I'm performing every weekend, and, maybe I'll get better at kind of the in between, the songs that I don't play quite as much. It'll kind of force me to get better at every part of that six hours instead of, the good songs and then the B-sides just kind of thrown in whenever I feel like it. And some songs, I'll forget about for 6 months and be like, oh yeah, I cover that song and haven't played it in a while, and then I just try it live and it doesn't go great. So that's the idea I've been having. I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's just something different, and I think that that's probably better than just doing the same thing over and over and over again. So, and the idea of having all my original music kind of all together in one set would be, if I could get from, song 1 to song 35 or whatever, and they all be decent. Obviously not every song's going to be amazing performance-wise, but if I could get, above 70% on that and just have it all in one place, I think that would be cool. And the same thing for the B-list and A-list covers. So that's going to be kind of something I'm striving towards. And, if I get a good copy, I could download the Facebook video and then put it on YouTube and have that kind of to show people when they're asking what kind of stuff we do or I do. Also a new thing, I've been working at Kidder, so a little bit different. I've been teaching the whole time, so that's been Monday through Wednesday. Now I'm going to, we're only doing curbside, so it's 10 to 4 on Tuesday and Wednesday. And we're just one person's here, and that's it for the whole day. And so that's been a nice change of pace. I would say I definitely don't take it for granted quite as much. I don't despise it, or getting up that extra hour late definitely helps, I think. Just not having to be up too early. Not that 8 o'clock's that early, but for me it kind of is. But so, now I get to sleep until 9, come in at 10. I work 6 hours straight, and then it actually turns into some pretty long days. I have lessons on Tuesdays from 5:30 to 7:30, so I work 10 to 4 and then 5:30 to 7:30. So I get that like hour and a half break in between. By the time I get home, it turns into about an hour. And then on Wednesdays I have 10 to 4 and then 5 to usually 8 or 8:30, depending on how my last lesson is and how long that goes. So, it actually makes for some pretty long days, and I don't know, I guess it gives me some sort of sense of I've done something at least, not just sat at home all day. Not that I was 100% doing that. I've tried to stick to a pretty strict practice regimen and pretty strict workout regimen. Been eating like shit, but I've been trying to change that up this week. I finally have like taken actual steps to, bought like decent food to eat and like stuff that I snack on, not like just chips and, frozen pizzas or whatever, whatever I was eating, which wasn't good. I'm trying to, and I've been eating fruit a fair amount and, salads a fair amount, but all the other stuff on top of that I've been eating has been bad. So, stuff I used to eat when I was in high school. I guess there's a certain amount of comfort and nostalgia that comes with eating like frozen pizzas and Hot Pockets and macaroni, that's all stuff I kind of lived on when I was in high school. Not that my mom didn't cook a fair amount as well, but, there were several meals throughout the week that would just be on me to make, and I would always, part of me likes that stuff, because I don't know, it's bad for you, but it's addicting, and so, But anyway, so trying to change that up, trying to be better on my fasting, kind of have been blowing that off a little bit more. So I made a good one. I did a good one yesterday, but I probably put on like 5 or 6 pounds. So I'm trying to get back down to below 190, which that's kind of where I've been sitting, like 194 or something was like my heaviest I've been. So I would like to get down to 185 would be a nice weight for me, but we'll see what happens. I go through phases like everyone else, I think, where I'm all about it, and then I eat one frozen pizza and then it's all downhill from there. But anyway, so that was a weird tangent, but anyway, so this last weekend with those shows, I did my B-list cover set and went okay. Wasn't great, but I didn't expect it to go great because, a lot of these songs I don't play a ton. So, but I was expecting my A-list covers to go, decent, because I do play these songs a lot. And so I kept the B-list. The A-list performance just wasn't at par for what it should have been. I was maybe a little faded before I started. I messed up the words to Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, a song I've played, over 100 times. So I don't know how. And then, like, there were several moments throughout the whole set where I had little things like that, or like little pitchy parts, and I don't know. I just wasn't 100% in it for some reason. And so, I ended up, and I just treated it like a regular live performance. After it was over, I didn't save the video. I just deleted it. So it was like live. If you watched it during, you saw it. You couldn't like watch it later because it just wasn't, like I said, it was supposed to be my A-list covers, and it just did not sound A-list worthy, I guess. So that'll be something new I'm shooting for maybe next weekend. This week I'm back to trying to get all my originals in one set, like a good quality performance, like 70% or above. But yeah, we'll see if that happens. But then the next weekend I'll do my B-list and my A-list. I might organize it a little bit differently too. There's some songs on my B-list that maybe should have been on my A-list. But yeah, so that's what I'll be working on. I was really bored on Thursday night, and Lo kind of fell asleep pretty early that night. And, we can't really I can't really continue to watch the shows that we've been watching because, then she won't be caught up on them, or I'll have to rewatch them. So a lot of times in that situation, I would just put it on podcasts and listen to that. But there wasn't really any podcast that was getting my attention too much. So I put on a live concert, and at first I wasn't really into it because I had to keep the volume pretty low. But then I had this idea to plug my headphones into the TV because there's a aux out, little 1/8" jack. And I put on my studio headphones and I listened to a 2.5-hour concert. And it was crazy how good it made me feel. Like, I was in a pretty down mood, I would say, and just kind of bored overall. But I plugged my headphones in and had the window open, so it kind of felt like fresh air outside. It was cool, very cool out. So every once in a while I'd get a nice breeze. And it just allowed me to really pay more attention to, what was going on in the show and be more focused and isolated with that. But also, in between the songs where everybody was clapping and cheering, it felt almost like I was there, and then like I'd feel like a nice cool breeze. And, the light show was pretty cool on the TV. It was about as close to being at an actual live show that, obviously it wasn't the same, but it was as close as I could get with what's going on. And there was something very, comforting about it. Made me realize that I need to go to more live concerts. I go to some local stuff here and there, but that's just not the same as, a full performance on, a professional level. It's just a different, there's just a different amount of electricity in the air for a live performance like that. And I realize I haven't really been to a lot of shows like that since high school. And that's part of why I got into trying to perform professionally, was because, I want to feel that electricity. And it kind of made me sad a little bit that I don't really feel like that on a regular basis, but at least anymore. I've had a few shows that kind of feel like that, but it's just a different thing when, there's a whole crowd of people that are there for one purpose. They know the artist. They want to see the artist. They know the songs. They, sing along. They clap after everything. They're dialed in. They're as a community of people kind of, changing their consciousness maybe with substances, and I don't know. It's just a different animal, crazy good light show. Everybody has a unified purpose, and that brings the performers to a different level of performance, because, they feel that energy, and then they exude that energy out of their bones, and then the crowd feeds off of it, and they feed off the crowd. I just haven't played a show like that in a long time, where I've been, drawn the crowd in, and then they bring it out of me, and then I bring it out of them, and it just escalates to this level of performance that I would never be capable of just playing on my own, or playing, virtually, or in some bar on some Friday or Saturday night. It just, not that, I don't have moments like that. It also made me really miss playing in a band. I think part of the thing is I have some sort of wishful thinking that the band I used to play with will, come back together if I have any sort of success, pushing this forward, my music forward. I'll just keep writing songs, keep trying to get them recorded well, and eventually, something will happen where maybe I can go on a cool tour with some bigger band, and then I can get, all the pieces back together. But I think it's pretty wishful thinking. And I've just been kind of, playing by myself for, up to 3-piece. You make more money that way, as a one-man band or as a 3-man band. or just acoustic, all of those you end up and make, quite a bit more. But part of what I missed was just besides the electricity, was just the everybody in the band being so on the same page. And, the musicians I was watching, they've been 30 plus years of, playing together. There's a certain amount of chemistry that comes along with that, I don't think we ever had, but, we were on the right track to have it if we would have played for, a longer period of time. And, there were moments in time where we had that kind of vibe, but, it's been a long time since I've felt that. And, made me think maybe I should try to get something new together or something. I mean, really all I need is a drummer and a bass player to learn a bunch of songs. It's a daunting task to even think about, but it's like, if I get people that were committed and really wanted to do it, I feel like, it'd be a couple years of learning stuff and then playing out a lot. And I don't know. I realized that, like, the band I was watching, they've been together for, 30 plus years or whatever, like I said. And, if I started playing with the band now, I'd be over 50 by the time I'd have that sort of onstage chemistry and just that vibe and charisma that they were having. So, I don't know. It's just something I think about. And I like being in control. There's obviously a control element to what I do, doing the one-man band and, like, all in one, and I can depend on myself to, most of the times, can depend on myself to do the things necessary. But, it'd just be nice to not have to be so reliant. Get specialized people, because I'm not a drummer. I pretend like I kind of play, but I'm not a real drummer, and my little bass pedal doesn't, sound like an actual bass player. Now, part of me doesn't want to do that just because I'm, they'll never be able to fill the shoes of the people that I was playing with. But if those people that I was playing with, those people were playing with, wanted to play all the time, it'd be a different conversation. But, at this point, we haven't played live shows for a couple years or whatever, maybe a year or two. So, and I can never get them all together. So maybe it is time that I just try to get and maybe some younger people that would be, really into it, and I could show how to book shows and how I like promote stuff, and we could kind of, because I don't know, I get a little frustrated sometimes with the other band that, I was kind of doing all that stuff. Of course, they all viewed it like it was my band, so they shouldn't really have to do that. They just wanted to kind of show up, and, they practiced a lot, which was good, but not a lot of extra time put into it other than that. So, I don't know, just something I've been missing and didn't realize I was missing so hard until I watched that live show. So, but anyway, what I was getting at is I highly recommend doing that. If you got nice headphones, plug them into your TV and just put on some live concert and just kind of be there with the people that were there. And it definitely increased my mood and just overall vibe, and kind of inspired me in a lot of ways. So highly recommend. So I don't know, I guess that's it for this week. I don't really have much else. It's so weird. I talk to people on the phone more because, I don't see anybody in person, but when we talk, I'm like, so what's new with you? And they're like, pretty much nothing. And then they're like, what's new with you? And then I'm like, pretty much nothing. And that's kind of where we're at in this weird situation in these strange times. So anyway, that's all for me. I'll be talking about those other virtual performances next time. Thanks for listening. Have a good rest of your week.